Hi, I'm Old Sneelock. Welcome to another episode of Old Sneelock's Workshop. As Louie often reminds me, every job like this is like a cat eating a grindstone, one bite at a time. My fault. I have piled up stuff on top of these toolboxes to the point where I can no longer get in to get the tools. I have to unload things to get them out. This toolbox needs to go out to the big workshop. That means I need to unload it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to utilize some free boxes from the post office and compile this stuff into manageable sizes of tool boxes and be able to take them out there and set them up on the shelves that I put together out in the workshop. Get this toolbox emptied, get the top of the workbench emptied, and get it ready to come out of here. Now, it's not going to be an easy job. It's not going to be done in a night. I doubt I'll get 1% of the thing done tonight, but I'm going to at least work on it. The goal is to just constantly do something moving forward. This is junk. It's the one I took out of the truck. That needs to be trashed. This can go in the box. This can go in the box, but it shouldn't go in this box because this is an electrical part. Saw blades, sockets, wrench kit, not all of it, but most of it. Just going to try and empty out the top of this toolbox so that I can carry out the toolbox with the drawers loaded. I think I can manage that. It's going to be an effort because this toolbox is rather large and heavy. But if I can empty out the top of it and manage that, that'll take a good portion of the weight off of it. This one came out of that set. Okay, I've moved the first box full of stuff. Move the packet of welding rod back over to the top of the welder. Just a tremendous amount of junk. And by junk, I'm saying parts that I've kept because they go to something. Unfinished projects. The biggest failure point here is unfinished projects. Ford jack. I bought this to go on a display for the 46 Ford truck. This would never pick up a 46 Ford truck. Chainsaw chain needs sharpened, but it fits something. I'm not sure exactly what right now. Half-inch conduit bender. I'll be using this to run wire out in the garage, in the workshop. This is French, made in Taiwan, long ago. The idea is you can click that through there. When you put it on this side, it loosens a bolt. When you put it on that side, it tightens a bolt or a nut. But it allowed you to get in, under, and around some things that you couldn't get to. And with just your fingers, reach a bolt you couldn't get your hand to. Now we've improved things to the point where we have electric tools and pneumatic tools that do similar things. But this is kind of a handy thing to have for those moments when you're trying to get something you just can't reach. Torque wrench. This was tossed out at Douglas Auto Tech because they couldn't verify that it was accurate. For most things, torque is within limitations. And this always met limitations, but it didn't have a digital readout on it, so the operators were having trouble. Yeah, they weren't used to looking at a dial. So they were going to throw it in the scrap iron, and I said, I'll take it. This is another one. This one was specifically made for a certain process. They stopped doing the process, so they said this was no longer useful. It's still accurate. You just have to use a different wrench. Extensions. When I bought junk boxes, I always found extensions. I have had extensions out 3 feet to reach down and get a starter out of a truck that I couldn't get underneath or around any other way. Another torque wrench. Just too lazy to reset it. Impact driver. By impact driver, I mean hit it with a hammer driver. This one, somebody decided they wanted to take it apart with a sledgehammer. Still works, but if they'd have had it in their hands for very long, they were trying it on too big a bolt. Too big a job, overpowering the tool. Bought this toolbox off my brother 20 years ago for $5. He'd left it sit out in the rain and it rusted. The bottom is pretty much shot. I fastened a piece of plywood to the bottom, turned it into a toolbox again. And it's been sitting on a bench either here or in Union City for the last 20 years. Massively heavy son of a gun. But I don't move it a lot, so it's going to work just fine. This one's going to... This toolbox is going to be shifted out to the workshop, and then I'll start putting tools back into it after I get the bench in the workshop. This toolbox is going to be shifted out to the workshop. I'm going to finish unloading the bench, and then I'm going to move the bench out to the workshop. So I can set the toolboxes back on top of it, put a rack over the top of that, and then start loading the rack. And move all this stuff out of the garage. Get it so I don't have to stand in a little pocket in front of the thing to work. At least that's the goal. Only have just a few minutes tonight to do something, but I got a toolbox unloaded. I'm gaining ground. If you have any suggestions for new video, questions about today's video, or any of the other videos on the channel, just drop a note in the comments. You know I read them all. Thanks for watching.
This video is not to be viewed by anyone under the age of 13 in the U.S. or 16 in the European Union without the express written permission of the parents or the legal guardians of the underage person. Such written permission must be on file at the local government entity in charge of enforcing the rules and regulations established by the FTC. Anyone violating these terms is admitting by default that they hold harmless the owners and operators of this channel. Any and all questions should be addressed to your local branch of the FTC.